At its heart, minimalism is a way of life focused on intentionality. It asks one simple question: does this add value to my life? Minimalists believe that we live in a culture that convinces us to constantly buy and accumulate. They see this excess not just of stuff, but of commitments and distractions as a drain on our resources. Here are the key beliefs broken down. Stuff steals your freedom. Every possession you own, from the gadget in the drawer to the clothes in your wardrobe, requires your time, energy, and money to maintain, clean, store, and worry about. By getting rid of the excess, you're essentially buying back your time and mental space. You're freeing yourself from the tyranny of stuff so that you can focus on more important things. Quality trumps quantity. So instead of buying 10 cheap things that will break next year, buy one high quality item that will last a decade. This is about being a mindful consumer. You spend less time shopping and worrying about replacement, and you have things that actually function well and bring lasting satisfaction. Experiences are true wealth. Joy doesn't come from a new purchase, it comes from life experiences, personal growth, and deep connections with people. Minimalists intentionally shift their focus and their spending away from accumulating physical things and towards things that they can feel and remember, such as travelling, learning a skill, spending in uninterrupted time with the family, and contributing to their community. Declutter your mind, not just your closet, your wardrobe. Clutter isn't just physical. There's digital clutter, too many notifications, unused apps. There's schedule clutter, too many obligations, saying yes to everything, creating stress and fatigue. Minimalism is a tool for clarity, and by clearing out non-essential commitments such as digital noise, you gain mental space to focus on your highest priorities and enjoy being present in the moment. Minimalists aren't living in deprivation by any means. They're clearing the runway so that they can take off towards things that truly matter to them. Welcome back to Nonsense Psychiatry, and this is the podcast that delivers practical, actionable strategies for your mental well-being. And today we're tackling the problem that doesn't just fill your closets, it fills your head. Clutter. We've heard a lot about minimalism, often pictured as an aesthetic with a stark white walls and 10 possessions. But what if I told you that minimalism is actually one of the most powerful mental health tools available? Minimalism, at its heart, is the philosophy of intentionality. It asks a powerful stress reduction question: does this add value to my life? So in this episode, we're going to look at and use the core belief of minimalism, focusing on quality, experience, and freedom to tackle the invisible chaos inside our heads. We're cutting through the noise to show how excess, anything, whether it's stuff, obligations, or worry, is actively stealing your time, energy, and your peace. And we'll start by briefly looking at why stuff steals your freedom and why experiences are the true wealth. And then we'll dive straight into the 3 pieces of homework for you this week. So 3 powerful techniques to declutter your mind and free up your cognitive resources. It's time to stop letting open loops and constant distractions drain your battery. So let's learn how to apply the no-nonsense approach to psychological minimalism. Declutter open loops with a brain dump. Mental clutter is often caused by open loops, which are all unfinished tasks, random ideas, worries, and obligations that rattle around inside our heads. And your brain wastes energy constantly trying to remember these things, leading to anxiety and inevitably exhaustion. So the strategy is to commit to a brain dump, a session that lasts about 20 to 30 minutes, and just get it all out. Write down everything that's occupying your mind, no matter how small and how silly. Buy milk, email Jen, Worry about that awkward moment in 2018. Start a new project. And then you've got to process it. Once everything is externalized, you now have a manageable list. Review the list and assign a clear up step for each item. Do it now, if under 2 minutes. Schedule it, put it on the calendar, or delete and discard it. Decide it's not important. So by moving these loops from your memory, which is a poor storage system, to a trusted external system, being a notepad or a notebook or an app, you instantly free up cognitive bandwidths and reduced background anxiety. Next step is to practice worrying on a schedule to contain anxiety. So for people who struggle with persistent generalized anxiety, letting worries intrude throughout the day is a major source of mental clutter. And to set aside a specific dedicated 15-minute slot each day for worrying, i.e. between 5 and 5:15 in the afternoon. If the worry pops up outside this time, say while you're working or eating, gently acknowledge it and write it down briefly. Worry about the rent, say for instance. Tell yourself, I will give this my full attention at 5. During that 15 minutes designated, focus only on the worries you've collected and spend 5 minutes analysing which worries you'll act on, i.e. making a plan, and 10 minutes dismissing the worries you can't control. The technique teaches your brain to defer and contain anxious thoughts, restoring the present moment as a calm, worry-free space. And then we can look at implement the information diet. Because modern life overwhelms the mind with excessive, often over negative information that triggers the fear centers of the brain, the digital clutter that distracts you from the real life priorities. So you aggressively reduce your intake of non-essential, high-intensity content. Identify the biggest source of anxiety, including distracting noise. It might be cable news, specific social media apps, endless scrolling. And set some boundaries. Commit to the digital detox hours, i.e. no phones in the first hour of the day and after 8 p.m. And strictly limit how often you check non-essential notifications. Be intentional about a few sources of information you do engage with. By decluttering your input, you significantly lower your baseline level of stress and allow your mind to focus on your immediate environment and your goals, leading to greater engagement and productivity. So we've broken down the connection between minimalism and mental health. We aren't asking you to live like a monk. We're asking you to be intentional about the most valuable resource, your attention, your time. Remember the 3 pieces of homework. The brain dump. Get those open loops out of your head and onto paper so mind can finally relax about it. Have a schedule to worry. Contain your anxiety by dedicating just 15 minutes a day to it and let the rest of the day be yours. The information diet. Aggressively cut the non-essential digital noise that is raising your baseline stress level. The goal here isn't an empty apartment house. It's an empty, clear mind. A state where you can see the woods because there are fewer trees. Choose just one of these 3 strategies this week to commit to. It's time to stop letting clutter dictate your emotional state. Until the next time, this is No Nonsense Psychiatry. Be intentional with your life and take back your mental space.